5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McCarthy, I'm over here. And I appreciate your testimony and your service here. And a good number of things pop up in our minds that are come to our attention. I'm just looking at a few headlines here. Sixth Circuit puts controversial waters of the United States, the WOTUS rule, on hold. There's another article that addresses the Clean Air Act on hold. And as I'm watching this, it seems as though the agency has been pushing back against, especially our farmer producers and our people that care about their value of their productive real estate. I just had a couple of phrases here that I've seen emerge from the EPA over the years, and I wanted to start with this. Water is hydrologically connected to. You're familiar with that phrase, and you're also familiar with the phrase significant nexus.
Yes.
Now, would you have a judgment on which one of those is the most ambiguous?
Well, the Clean Water Rule actually tries to provide clarity to both of those. The ambiguity arose when the Supreme Court actually raised these issues and suggested that EPA needed to resolve these. That's what the Clean Water Rule is all about.
And, of course, I'm about clarity, of course, too. And then, so with regard to clarity, with the renewable fuel standard, you've taken a position in past years, back in about 2012 or 13, that we had short grain supplies and high grain prices. Therefore, you rolled back the directive on the RFS, and I'll just focus particularly on corn-based ethanol for simplicity's sake here, and made that judgment administratively, even though the statute required that those gallons be more. I notice now that we have high volume oversupply of grain and low prices that have dropped about a little more than half since that period of time, and I don't notice that the same logic is applied when it comes time to adjust the RFS for current conditions. So if it was a good idea to lower the RFS requirement for corn-based ethanol back when grain supplies were short and prices were high, why wouldn't it also be a good idea to raise it at least up to the statutory standard when grain prices are low and supplies are high?
So the renewable fuel standards that we came out with provide us an opportunity to get back on track as well as provide steady growth. The numbers that you're looking at in here is our assessment of what we can achieve attempting full bore to get to the statutory levels, but recognizing that leaps like this in these shorter time frame is not possible. So we want to achieve those statutory levels. We understand that's what Congress intended, but there is a growth that we need to recognize and factors that impact that we have to take into consideration.
You're talking about production capacity. You're talking about
No, I'm not talking about production capacity.
Then what are you addressing?
I am addressing the ability for us to be able to get that fuel into the system.
And that's the blend wall.
That is correct.
And do you believe you have the administrative authority to abolish the blend wall?
Well, these numbers actually push through the blend wall because we understand that we need to do that to continue investments in infrastructure that will be necessary to get to the.
You believe they have the administrative authority to do that, to abolish the blend wall?
I believe we're doing everything that the law says, which is to get to these levels as quickly as possible, but you have to think of factors like how reasonable it is to achieve these within this certain period.
Have you, what about going to E15?
Yes.
Do you have the authority to do that?
We actually approved E15 in use of specific vehicles, mostly the modern vehicles we have.
Year-round?
Yes.
So we're past the E15 blend wall year-round. There's no vapor pressure requirement that restricts it any longer?
There is a vapor pressure requirement. Yes, there is. But we approve the use in the vehicles, and it can be used. There are certain places where,
Okay, I'm addressing, practically speaking. I think I should have prefaced my question with that. Then also, with regard to the testing of fuels, my information is that EPA relied on a Chevron consultant to design the test fuels. Are you familiar with that?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to pose some of these questions to you in a written form so you have an opportunity to digest them and answer them in a way that's not a high-test area in the hearing here. I have a stack of questions I'd ask that you respond to with regard to testing requirements and compliance with the RFS. I'd ask you one final question. If you were the administrator of the EPA at the time that the RFS expires, sunsets, would you believe that you have the administrative authority to extend it beyond its sunset?
I'm not aware that the RFS sunsets, sir. What are we referring to?
Well, I'll put that in my question to you, too, the specific language that's in the statute.
Okay.
And so that'll all come to you, and we'll look forward to working with you.
I will, too, as well.
Thank you very
sir.
much. Now yield back.
Gentleman's time is yield back. Mr.